So once you obtain your residency visa at the consulate in your home country, you get a visa in your passport that is valid for 180 days from the day it's issued. Whenever you enter within these 180 days, you have 30 days to apply for your Canje, which is basically the exchange of this visa to a Mexican ID card, which will state your residency status in Mexico. Very important, when you enter the country, do not go through the machines at the airport. These are good for tourists who want or need a 180-day tourist visa. To have them register you as a resident, you have to see an agent and tell them you are there for your Canje, that you are there for final step, the second step for the residency. So basically you are there for your Canje. You can say, I came for my Canje. That's it. Airports vary greatly, but in Mexico City and Guadalajara, you line up directly with the Mexicans, not with the foreigners. Make sure the agent understands you are there for your Canje process. I entered the country in Mexico City, checked with an official, those guys that help you get in the correct line at passport control, told him I was a resident and lined up with the Mexicans. The officer asked me how I got the residency. I told him through economic solvency. He chatted a bit, said welcome, and much more. He was super inviting and very, very welcoming. And then he wrote Canje 30 on my visa, which means I had 30 days to get my resident card. You can go to any INM office, immigration office within Mexico to do this. Depending on how busy they get, they may operate on an appointment system or on a walk-in basis. After some research, I decided to get it done as quickly as possible at a walk-in location in a small place without crowds and lines. I ended up going with Huatulco, Oaxaca. So I had found out that there are no appointments in Santa Cruz, Santa Maria Huatulco in the state of Oaxaca. The office is right on the beach. Yes, on the beach, literally. I arrived in the afternoon and went straight to the office. There are people there and they will come to the door and answer any question you might have, but you do have to come in the morning and apply before noon. They advised me to come early if I want to be first in line. The office opens at 9 a.m., but there is a list right by the entrance outside where you can sign up and then be back at 9 a.m. when they open. I arrived at 8:15 and saw someone had already signed up at 7:50 a.m. You do have to indicate the time as well. So I signed up. I went for breakfast. There's a restaurant right next door with great breakfast and coffee. And I was back at 9 a.m. Since there were two officials, the lady in front of me and I were called at the same time, so I was in at 9 a.m. I had all my documents that I had prepared except for the escrito, the letter of intent. I remember having seen it on their website, but somehow I had neglected it. Some things that are on their website are now being done in office, like the form with all the questions about your height, weight, religion, etc. And the 3 photos aren't necessary anymore. So they told me to write a letter of intent, which needs to be written on a computer and printed out. And so I did that. You have to bring it along with the other documents by noon. All my other documents were okay. I asked if they had a sample letter of intent, and she gave me one provided by another applicant, scratching out all their personal information. And later in the day, I was given another great option by their manager to be used for my husband, but more on that later. So I typed the letter on my phone, sent it to a guy who has a Photoshop but does printouts, and very close, just like 5 minutes from the immigration office. And then I got my letter of intent printed out. He's the only public guy who does printouts and is located near the Nova Scotia Bank. You can find it easily on Google Maps. He charged 3 pesos per page, 15 cents. I also had him print out my FMM. You can only print it out after you enter the countries because it has the exact time and date of your arrival. So you can't do that in your home country. So you need to bring your passport with the Mexican residency visa in it. Provide the copies of the page with your photo and the page with the residency visa from the Mexican consulate, your letter of intent, they call it escrito, my FMM form, downloaded from the official site, we'll add the link down below, a credit card to pay for your residency card. The price depends on the length of your residency permit, no cash. The website says you need proof of payment, but you pay at the office and get a receipt, which is basically your proof of payment. Nothing to be done in advance. The website also mentions 3 photos, but this also isn't necessary anymore. They will make the photos along with the fingerprinting right at the office. The format básico mentioned on the website is filled out by the INM official, who will ask you about eye color, height, weight, tattoos, religion, etc. So basically all you bring is your passport with your visa, a credit card, and a letter of intent. The rest will be taken care of right at the office. For 1 year of temporary residency, it's 5,570 Mexican pesos, which is about 290 USD. Depends on the exchange rate. And for permanent, it's 6,789 Mexican pesos, which is around 360 USD. Again, depending on the exchange rate. In case you don't speak Spanish, don't worry, I can't speak for any other office, but here in Santa Cruz, Huatulco, I have seen the officials speak to another applicant through Google Translate, and they are incredibly patient and helpful to everybody. In my case, I had forgotten the letter of intent. They provided me with a sample. I wrote it with my info and got it printed out, submitted, everything before noon. With all the documents present, it takes about half an hour for them to go through everything, and then they will call you back in an hour or two to collect your ID card. It's easily a process of a few hours. Once I received my card, I asked about family unification to apply for my husband as well. They let me in the afternoon when they don't even receive applicants anymore, walked me through the whole website and family unification process step by step, told me not to forget the letter of intent this time, made sure I wrote down everything necessary. Never ever in my life have I seen government officials this helpful. It was extraordinary, definitely. So it does help, of course, if you know some Spanish, but I've seen how much they helped others with zero Spanish through translation apps. Like a lady who was a tourist and tried to get residency. They were super patient and gave her all the info and the correct way to get residency. Overall, I would recommend this office 1000%.